Dear scholars and participants, good afternoon. My name is GUI. Currently, I'm a PhD student under Dr. Q.C.'s supervision at UTM. I feel so privileged to present my research for the Postgraduate Conference in Education 2024. The title of my research is Integrating Intercultural Communicative Competence in English Language Teaching in Post-Pandemic China. This is the outline of my presentation. Part 1, Introduction, covers research background, problem statement, research objectives and questions, theoretical and conceptual frameworks, significance and scope of my research. Part 2, Literature Review, will review the theoretical underpinning of my research. Part 3 includes the research methodology, research design, and pilot study. For the introduction, in China, progress in intercultural communicative competence is evident through increased emphasis on intercultural communication in language education, growing international exchanges, and corporate recognition of ICC skills in the workplace. Government initiatives, technology, and efforts to balance globalization with cultural preservation contribute to the evolving landscape of ICC in China, reflecting a dynamic interplay between advancement and ongoing hurdles. While the government and educational institutions acknowledge the significance of ICC and have taken initial steps, the pressing need to address existing deficiencies in ICC development among students underscores the importance of integrating cultivation of comprehensive ICC teaching module into EFL curriculum. There remains a significant gap in the availability of a comprehensive ICC English teaching module designed specifically to enhance Chinese students' ICC in a specific course in China. For the research background, I have delved deeper into 3 issues in China. There is a lack of awareness of intercultural knowledge, attitude, and communicative skills among Chinese EFL students. English teachers emphasize the language proficiency and treat intercultural competence as secondary or ignore it entirely. There is no existing ICC teaching modules which integrate ICC into a specific course. The problem statement for this research is numerous studies have investigated the intercultural learning experiences of Chinese students enrolled in universities abroad, such as in the UK, North America, and New Zealand. While efforts have been made to integrate language and culture in the curriculum, there remains a paucity of research specifically focused on assessing the impact of ICC modules on students' ICC skills, knowledge, awareness, and attitude. The perception of ICC in the English language teaching class in China is multifaceted, encompassing challenges in knowledge, awareness, skills, and attitude. This can be concluded that there is insufficient empirical evidence documenting the practical approaches to implementing ICC teaching modules in EFL curriculum, which led to the development of Chinese students' ICC in China. Therefore, I endeavor to achieve 3 research objectives: to investigate the effect of intercultural communicative competence teaching module on students' ICC development in terms of awareness, skill, knowledge, and attitude. To examine the ways of students perceive the implementation of ICC teaching module on developing their ICC. to examine the ways of the teacher perceive the implementation of ICC teaching module on developing students' ICC. From the research objectives, I derived 3 research questions. 1. What does an English language class integrated with ICC teaching module affect students' ICC in terms of skill, knowledge, awareness, and attitude? 2. How do students perceive the implementation of ICC teaching module and developing their ICC? 3. How does the teacher perceive the implementation of ICC teaching module on developing students' ICC? From the theoretical framework, I developed the conceptual framework. There are 4 main theories as for the foundation of a theoretical framework. The first one is intercultural communicative competence theory, intercultural language teaching theory, intercultural foreign language teaching theory, and intercultural communicative competence teaching module. There are 4 components in the ICC teaching module: the cultivation of awareness, skill, attitude, knowledge. Hopefully, this teaching module will enhance Chinese students' ICC in terms of the 4 components. As for the significance of this research, for the teachers, they will prioritize the cultivation of ICC within curriculum framework. For the students, they will effectively navigate intercultural communication situations. For the international higher education, there will be a paradigm shift in the landscape of international higher education. For the MOE, there will be a sustained support for the implementation of ICC-based educational reforms. As for the scope of the research, the participants will be the newly enrolled freshmen at Detroit Green Technology Institute, located in Wuhan, Hubei Province. And the integrated module are selected based on suggestions from past studies. I will use the intercultural competence tests, intercultural competence questionnaires, interviews, and reflective journals to conduct experimental research between 2 groups. I have compared the past studies on ICC teaching modules. Here are the 5 examples, and most of them include the 4 components. The CAK module developed by Penn in 2022 is the most comprehensive and the most suitable for Chinese university students when compared with other guidance documents at home and abroad. That's why I will choose this module as the foundation of ICC teaching module in my research. From the systematic literature review, among the international research on ICC from 2019 to 2023, empirical studies accounted for 80.7%. Non-empirical studies made up 19.3%, while in China, empirical studies only accounted for 12.6%. For the research methodology, this study will employ mixed method experimental design. To answer the first research question, the instrument of ICQ will be used, and the quantitative and qualitative data will be analyzed by descriptive and inferential statistics as well as thematic analysis. To answer the second research question, the instruments, the semi-structured interview reflective journal will be used and the qualitative data will be analyzed by thematic analysis and content analysis. To answer the third research question, the instrument semi-structured interview reflective journal will be used and the qualitative data will be analyzed by thematic analysis and content analysis. There are four major procedures in this study. The first phase will be constructing instrument and conduct a pilot study for both groups. After that, a pre-test will be administered for both control and treatment groups. Then, classes will be conducted with the ICC teaching module and eventually a post-test will be administered when the treatment is completed. The third phase in the research process will be analyzing the data quantitatively and qualitatively. Before conducting research on the two classes, the researcher, to examine the validity and reliability of the instrument, will conduct a one-week pilot study on a small group of students with a similar background in terms of language proficiency. At the beginning of the data collection process, students from two sections of freshman class will be randomly allocated into intervention and comparison groups. The comparison group will acquire instructions in the traditional manner, while the treatment group will be taught with the ICC teaching module. Prior to the experiment, a pre-test will be administered to create a baseline and help the researcher measure the students' progress after the 16 weeks of intervention. Intercultural competence test has been proved by RAC analysis, include separation index and internal reliability coefficient to demonstrate that its separation index exceeds the threshold, indicating improved ability to differentiate between various levels of ability or difficulty, and that the internal reliability coefficient surpasses 0.8, ensuring highly reliability measurement outcomes. The examinee's separation index of this test is 2.49. And the internal reliability coefficient stands at 0.86. These values fall within the reference range, suggesting that the test effectively distinguishes between candidates' ability levels. The separation index of test item is 11.93, and the internal reliability coefficient is 0.99. That also falls within acceptable range, suggesting that there are multiple difficult levels among the test items. These results show that the ICT has high reliability, can measure the intercultural competence of the examinees, and distinguish the examinees' competence effectively. The result of the pilot study of ICC questionnaire indicate that the questionnaire is reliable for data gathering purposes. The cranback alpha value for questionnaire is 0.8, which suggests that the statements in the questionnaire are eternally consistent and the questionnaire is reliable. Furthermore, a reliability test running on the data obtained from perception shows the cranback alpha value for perception is 0.76, which indicates that the questionnaire is reliable and internally consistent to gather data regarding students and teachers' perception on ICC. In order to conduct the ICC teaching module, I have developed the 16-week teaching plan. There are 8 topics for 16 weeks. This is the detailed teaching plan from week 1 to week 16. Hopefully, the expected finding will reveal the situation of ICC teaching in China and the importance of integrating ICC teaching module into college English course to develop Chinese students' ICC in post-pandemic China. Thank you. I'm more than happy to receive any emails, and this is my email address. Thanks again.